What's up, guys? Welcome to Learning Rabbit. In this, we are going to set up the REST backend, and there will be less talking and more of code in this lecture. We are going to be looking at the backend for the hashtag monitor. This app is going to search the tweets that we do on Twitter, and if any hashtag matches with what the query is, it will return the response. So the agenda for it is we're going to see the application overview, we code the REST application, and we test the endpoint using the browser. So let's look at the application overview first. So we are not going to talk about the database, so I've hidden that. No more talking about the front, just the back end. In this lecture, our whole focus will be on the back end, and we'll write some simple Flask-based REST API which we'll use to talk to the Twitter API. I have created a Twitter wrapper as well. It's a small library that I've created around the Twitter API. I will not be exposing my own tokens that you guys have to do yourself. I will give the instructions in the YouTube's description. You guys can follow that and create your access token yourself. Let's first take a look at the application overview. So this is the application. It's the whole design. I'll be blurring out the things that we'll not be taking care of in this lecture, which is the database, the front end. We'll just be talking about this, the REST API using Flask. And now I'm going to shift back to my code. So this is going to be the structure for our code editor. First is the app.py, in which we'll be writing the Flask application. This is the constants.py, in which I have my secrets for the Twitter account, which I cannot share with you, but you guys are free to create on your own. I'm going to give the instruction in the video's description. Then we have a Docker file in which we'll write some code in the later lectures to Dockerize this REST API. We then have a requirements.txt in which we'll declare all the dependencies that this application needs, which is Flask and a Twitter Python library. Then this is my library. This is my own wrapper around the Twitter library. I've added some functions in it, like these, like the event matches function, which matches a particular event in the hashtag. So we'll be using this function as part of this demo. So this was just a small code walkthrough for the REST application. Now let's start writing code for the REST application. For the REST API, I first need to declare my requirements. This is quite necessary when you want to ship your project to someone else. So the first one is Flask. Then I need a Python Twitter client because my Twitter API uses that. So let's go into the app code. Now let's import the Flask. So from Flask, we are going to import Flask class. Then we are going to create the Flask object with the name of the class. And then let's create a route. Let's create a route. This route is going to be search and event. This is the endpoint that we'll create. And let's name the function as search. It's going to take the argument as event. This event will be passed in when we'll use the browser. We'll use the endpoint, we'll pass a query or a path parameter here in place of the event. This will be passed in as an argument into this function. For now, let's add a dummy return type here. Say hello, you searched for the event. If the name is main. So this means this is started as the standalone file. This should run, and if this runs, we should be running the Flask server. The host, we need to provide the host on which the server should run, which is this, and the port, which will be 5000, and that's pretty much it for at least getting the dummy endpoint up and running. So I'm going to start it. You see that it is up and running. Now let's switch to the browser. So when I do this, you see that I get hello, you search for learning rabbit, because the path parameter was learning rabbit. Let's switch back to the editor and use the Twitter API now. So we say from Twitter API import Twitter API class. Let's create this as object. So once this is done, instead of using this now, I want to do Twitter dot event matches. I'm going to write event types, and the type of the event is I think I need to pass a query in here. So let's create that query. So let's copy that from the code. We already have it here. So first, we can also show the tweets. So I'm going to copy this because I wrote this a while ago. I don't remember it right now. So let's copy this. First, let's get the tweet. I'm going to get the last tweet basically. When we get that, that's going to be saved in my tweet. Let's create a payload out of that. Let's also print, or let's not print the payload. So instead of 5G, I'm going to use event, whichever is passed in from the browser. And I'm only going to consider the last one tweet that we do, because I'm going to show you guys a real tweet that I do, and then we'll see if this uses or not. So let's have a boolean argument, which is a boolean variable, which says a boolean variable which will tell us if the match happened or not. And last but not the least, we need to send out a JSON. So I'm going to use the JSON module. So now let's use the JSON.dump. This is just to throw a JSON response. So the first one is going to be the query that the user sent out. So I'm going to print the query as well. That is going to be this, the event, the tweet that we found, which is in the payload, and the matches variable, if it matched or not. Yeah. So now let's restart the server. Go back to the browser. Send another query. I'm going to write, let's say, I'm going to search COVID-19. So when I press enter, I see the query is COVID-19. The last tweet is parsing something number 11. The hashtag is earthquake. So I did this a long time ago. I posted some random tweets, and you see the tags earthquake is one time. This is the complete text that I get back from Twitter. It says matches false. So let's open Twitter. But this was my tweet. This was my last tweet. Let's add another tweet. So I'm tweeting this out, and we'll use the browser, we'll use the query to find this tweet, and we'll try to match this hashtag. So the tweet was done. This is a new tweet. Now let's go back to the browser. Yeah. And now I'm going to write some. So I have written COVID-19 in the search query. So when I press enter now, you see that the query is COVID-19. The tweet is trying something out, COVID-19, and it says matches true. So the app, at least the rest part, is complete. The hashtag search is working. So guys, that was it for this video. I hope you learned how easy it was to bring a REST service up using the Flask framework. In the next lecture, I'm going to show you how we can create a Docker application for this REST API. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe my channel so you get all the notifications. Like the videos, share it with your friends, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay home, stay safe, keep learning. Bye bye from Learning Rabbit.